Well, guys, Extreme Rules is actually in the bag, and well, I actually have a few opinions on this match, but I'm going to do my best to not cough in everybody's ear while doing this review. But anyway, it's not gonna be pretty much a play by play. I'm just gonna say what's good and what's bad about each match. So without further ado, this is the good and the bad of Extreme Rules 2022. Let's get the one thing out the way that everyone has been waiting on. We've had so many teases about this particular person, not sure whether or not they're going to show up, not sure whether or not it's all a hoax, but it was proven not to be. And I mean, Bray Wyatt is back, and this is definitely a good. I actually watched this with two members of the Club Atlantis crew last night, Laurel Lewis and Mr. Griffin. Unfortunately, Prince was not able to be with us due to other circumstances. Prince, I hope that things are going better for you. This is definitely a shout out to you, man. But anyway, the one thing that Laurel brought up that actually made sense and possibly could be something that they might lean into, at least I hope so, is that during the whole introduction, the reintroduction of Bray Wyatt, we saw 4 characters of the Firefly Funhouse in cosplay. Could it be a possibility that those people dressed in cosplay of the old characters of the Firefly Funhouse, could it be a possibility that they might be a part of Bray's cult? Could it be a possibility that he might go back to being cult leader Bray, and this might be the cult of Bray instead of the Wyatt family? Honestly, I'm very intrigued on what direction they're going to take with this, and I really did like the reintroduction of Bray Wyatt. They did an amazing job. And I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not they're going to introduce him either on Raw or SmackDown and what direction they're going to go with next. And who is he going to feud with? Because the person that he honestly needs to get back at are 2 people. Number 1, Alexa Bliss. Number 2, Randy Orton. Those are the only 2 that have attachments to Bray that it will be completely understandable if he goes back on them and actually somehow feuds with them. Because I did see on Twitter that Alexa Bliss said, "Welcome back, friend." Please don't have her back with him. Please do not put them back together. Just have them do their own thing. I know that Alexa Bliss is directionless, but to be honest with you, the whole spooky hoodoo thing needs to go away. I want Colt Bray back. I really do. But anyway, I'm very intrigued on what direction they're going to take him, and it looks like that this was probably one of the best reintroductions of a wrestler I have seen in a very long time. A huge plus on my end. Let's get started talking about the first match of the night. That was the opener, and probably one of the best openers that I've seen in a while. And I said one of the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Whatever that is, more than likely it's just an Irish bar fight. Can we just say that? It's just an Irish bar fight, which really had no place at all in this match. But despite that, this was absolutely phenomenal. Did I have issues with the 50-50 booking? Because Sheamus actually lost to Gunther the previous night in the IC Championship match. But the championship wasn't on the line this time. It was a straight up street fight. And of course you have the Brawling Brutes that actually beat Imperium. Yeah, do I have a bit of favoritism towards Imperium? I do. They're one of my favorite factions on NXT, and I think that they're not getting enough credit where credit is deserved. I'm hoping that Gunther doesn't lose the IC Championship yet, but when it came to this match, they definitely brought it. It was a great way to open it. And man, I was hyped throughout the entire night. And even though I don't like the new names of Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, I don't like the new names, Gunther kind of brought a lot more to his name from the matches he's had previously, especially with Sheamus, to where I don't mind calling him that anymore. He definitely did make his name worth something, so I'm okay with calling him Gunther. I'm still not a fan of the other 2 names. It's far too stereotypical, but anyway, this was an amazing match, and this definitely starts off good. Now let's get into the bad, and to be honest with you, the bad pretty much goes towards the women's matches. Not the Raw one though, and I'm gonna get into that. But the SmackDown Women's match with Liv Morgan, who happens to be the champion at the time, versus Ronda Rousey. This was bad. The reason why it was bad is because something was off about Liv. The matches that she has had previously, especially with Becky Lynch and also with Shayna Baszler, she was able to keep up with them. It was so fluid to where it just looks like she was putting a lot of hard work in. Here, something was off. It was incredibly sloppy. It just seems like a lot of timings were off. It was an Extreme Rules match, but didn't feel extreme because not a lot of weapons were used. Not a lot of extreme tactics were used. It was boring and bland. It was interesting how she got choked out. Somehow she was smiling just like how Nikki Cross smiled at the end of her Iron Woman match she had with Asuka. It was a very, very odd finish. But the issue is that Liv was booked into oblivion from the jump. Ever since her first match with Ronda Rousey, she spent months trying to get the fans back on her side. And unfortunately, I don't think it worked for her. Nobody really considered her a credible threat against Ronda Rousey. It was a given that Ronda was going to take the belt back. And to be honest with you, as much as I'm not a big fan of Ronda Rousey, she would make that belt very interesting. But this match was not good. And it's a shame because Liv came such a long way for this match to fall flat. I don't know what happened, but this wasn't the best one. This is definitely the bad. The first bad of the night. I'm going to go ahead and just get into the following match after that. The next match definitely is Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. That match was also a dud. This was another bad of a match. The strap match, I'm sorry, the fact that Karrion Kross didn't put the strap on made it drag on a lot longer than it should have because the match was official when the straps were on. The thing is, it just didn't seem like it wasn't anything to put Karrion Kross over, and Karrion Kross needs to be put over here. It's nice to have Scarlett, but when you have too much Scarlett, it's going to make Karrion look weak. You have to have a balance there. But let's be honest, the reason why Karrion Kross is popular, and he knows this for a fact, is because of Scarlett Bordeaux. And the fact that she used Mace in order for him to win is a typical heel valet move. The only problem is when you utilize your valet too much, it's going to make the wrestler himself look weak unless the character is booked that way. This didn't make Karrion Kross look good at all. This didn't make Drew McIntyre look good at all. This match really did fall flat, and it's the second bad match of the night. Even if it had a finish, that made sense. It made sense for Karrion Kross to win here, but how it started in the middle just made it really weak. And this was it wasn't the worst match of the night, but it wasn't the best. And that's a shame because it should have been better than this. Now let's talk about another good match of the night, and it definitely is the Raw Women's Championship match with Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match. This was a very, very good match. Was it extreme? Kinda, but it still showcased how ruthless Bayley is, and it also showcased how much Bianca's doing everything she can to keep her championship. Now, I'm gonna go into the bad territory here. Even though you had Damage Control come out and try to aid Bayley, it was to really no avail. And that was the one thing that kind of made it sad. Now, what I mean by bad territory here is mainly because Bianca does not have a credible opponent, and Bayley lost to her twice clean. This doesn't make any sense for the feud to continue when she lost to her clean twice. And not only that, she had her goons come out, and her goons still couldn't help her. I don't know what to do with Bayley. I don't know what they're going to do with Bayley, because it's great that Bayley had her own faction. She started off strong at SummerSlam, but all of a sudden it just started to fall flat, and fall flat even more. Or was it WrestleMania? I can't remember. But either or, the fact that she made her return with Damage Control, this doesn't look good for Bayley at all. I don't know what direction they're going to take her, but rumor has it that they're trying to conserve that position for Bianca's title to get taken from her and give it to Charlotte Flair. Do I agree with this? Yes and no, if it is true. Charlotte Flair has nothing to prove. She's already has her legacy cemented, and even if she takes a title, it's not going to do anything for her or for Bianca, at least in my opinion. The only thing that can actually help Bianca is the chase, because let's be honest, the only credible person that can go up against Bianca Belair is Charlotte Flair, whether we want to admit it or not. But the other part of the bad is the fact that Bianca Belair doesn't have a credible opponent, and she looks a little bit too powerful to where she really doesn't have anybody to fight. It kind of puts her in a stalemate if you think about it. So to be honest with you, the match itself was really, really good. But the outcome of this match is leading into bad territory. I hope things change soon. Bianca Belair has worked her butt off to get to where she is, and I'm hoping she actually has a credible opponent to try to shape her championship reign a little bit more and make it stronger. But anyway, let's go on to the next match. And this match here was probably the match of the night. By far, 100% the match of the night. Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. Oh my gosh, the drama. Straight up, the drama. This match from start to finish, it started off a bit slow, but man, did it pick up. And it did start off a bit annoying when you had the referee constantly sticking the microphone in their mouth saying, "Do you quit? Do you quit? Do you quit?" It was annoying. Incredibly annoying. But then it really started to pick up, of course, when Judgment Day came down to try to aid Finn, and then you had, Edge clean house, and of course Rey Mysterio came to an epic fail. But when Beth came in there, and she was facing Rhea Ripley, I never thought I wanted a match that bad in my entire life. Oh my gosh, give me Beth versus Rhea, please. And I hope at least a one-on-one. Because honestly, the ending, the finish to this match was magnifique. I can't express how good this finish was. Because, oh my gosh, the fact that that was the way to get Edge to say "I quit" was probably the most dramatic I have ever seen a wrestling match be. It was gold. And then she did it anyway for the heat. Even better. Even better. This by far is match of the night. By far. Match of the night. And I kind of wish that this actually did close the show, because the main event, oh my gosh, was a bit of a dud. And this is probably the first dud that Seth Rollins has been in. Matt Riddle, actually the second dud, and we're not talking about Hell in a Cell. But anyway, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit match. Okay, this was boring, at least to me. I didn't really care much for this match at all. This was definitely out of Seth's element, but you would think it would be a little bit more entertaining. It wasn't. I kind of wish the I Quit match was the finisher instead of this one. I really didn't even care for the outcome, and of course you're going to have Matt Riddle win. But since they went out of their way to get Daniel Cormier to actually be the referee in the match, you would think he would interfere. You would think he would bring a little bit more magic to this match. He did nothing. He was just there. This match itself was just boring to me. I didn't really care much at all. And yeah, there were some high stakes points. There were some points where you had, I think it was called the bro dive that Matt Riddle did, like the senton that he did from the top of the pit and landed on Seth, and it looked like he probably busted his tailbone. But I'm not gonna lie, this match was not interesting to me. I actually fell asleep through half of it. I really didn't care. But after the match was over, of course, like I said before in the beginning, we were all waiting for that one moment. We were all waiting for the entrance of Bray Wyatt. So it made the finish worthwhile. But overall, I have to say, and everyone's giving these pay-per-view top stars, top ratings and all this. For me, I'm not the type of person that's going to give something a star rating if it was only had one good finish. This match was average. This pay-per-view was average at best, probably slightly above average, but as it being 5-star grade A material, no. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was a pretty decent pay-per-view to watch. There were a few bads in there, and unfortunately it was mostly the women's matches as well as the strap match. But to be honest with you, it was a pretty decent pay-per-view to watch. Would I go back and watch it? Probably not. But it wasn't bad. Probably if I do watch it, it's just for Bray's entrance alone. But other than that, this pay-per-view was somewhat slightly above average. But I want to hear what y'all's thoughts are. Let me know what you think about Extreme Rules. If you guys actually watched it, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.